I'm back to make another art student type video. I haven't filmed in a while just because I've been so busy with school. I have so much free time that I'm now ready to film videos. This is my cat Nico. And we're all rainbow because I got these awesome coverings for the window. So I thought that would be perfect to brighten up my quarantine. But the main thing that I wanted to talk about today was just what my experience in the what my experience has been with online art school. So I know a lot of people who subscribe to me are artists or are in art school themselves, so this is probably a shared experience and not many people are making videos about it, so I just wanted to share what my experience has been so far. I'm in week 3. Today is Monday, so I just started my 3rd week doing the online schooling. I found out I was going to be doing everything online on a Friday. It was March 13th actually. I was supposed to have a field trip to New York City and then my school had canceled the day before, and then on Friday my school announced that we weren't going to be having classes at all, which was pretty devastating for me. I was really upset. I know some people were surprised that I was so upset, but I'm paying for this school experience and I wanted a classroom experience with all of the other artists I'm surrounded with every single day. So I was pretty devastated by that. My cat is going to be knocking the camera around probably a lot. I'm starting to see the bright side of it. It got me out of like some presentations I didn't want to do, which is nice, and I'm getting to have a lot more time to myself and relax. Normally, I've talked about this in my other videos, but I do have 7 classes per semester normally, which is a lot, especially for art school. Our classes can be as long as 6 hours if they're studio classes sometimes, so it was definitely a hectic semester, and I only had about a month left when I heard the news. So it's not as bad as some people's circumstances. I know that some people had a lot longer left of school, but my school ends April 21st, so I'm nearing the end of that. I'm just hoping now that this will all go away soon and I won't have to start my senior year in the fall online. That is probably the worst case scenario. Not really, I mean, spending my entire senior year online would be worst case scenario. But I'm trying to look at the bright side. I've been playing a lot of Sims, relaxing, but also doing schoolwork and trying to work as much as I can. I work at a grocery store, so I'm just trying to make as much money as possible right now. Little cat paws. So when my school closed, they did let us come into the building and grab a few things. I didn't really have the forethought to grab as much as I wanted. I left this big canvas in there that I wish I had grabbed so I could work on it for my final painting piece I had due. So that's disappointing. Hopefully we can go back in and get stuff some point in the summer. I don't know. I'm really hoping because I have so much stuff in that storage space. It's kind of crazy. They also let us have some studio time if we wanted to finish up projects, but I had work. It was on the weekend and I wasn't really able to have that time. I know some people got some stuff finished, like our printmaking class. That was the first thing when I heard about this news. My mind immediately went to my printmaking class, because how am I gonna take a class that is solely revolving around our print lab and something we have only at school? So I was worried about that. I know that some people can do like block prints and stuff at home, but it's not ideal, obviously, especially for a school setting. Let me just show you what my cat is doing right now. He's very distractive to me. Kitty. We did have a week after that time that they thought actually they were gonna have the school open for that entire week for seniors to come in and work on like their senior thesis, but it turns out that we weren't actually able to do that. I'm not a senior, I'm a junior, but all the seniors I really feel bad for because they weren't even allowed to get that week, as it turns out. They let us know on like Monday that they just had to close the school that day. So obviously there's nothing that the school could have done. It's just one of those things that really sucks for the seniors, because in art school, like your whole junior year and senior year builds up to this thesis show that's now being postponed. But a lot of seniors also like move out or go home right after school ends, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. I know there are probably going to be a lot of kids that aren't able to go to the graduation that happens in the fall or whenever they're able to have it. I know a lot of schools are doing like online stuff. I'm kind of glad my school didn't go that route. So some of the first news that trickled in after we got that week break, as my school was trying to like quickly train teachers how to do stuff online. Our teachers would give us like emails to our classes individually, just giving us like a heads up on how each class is gonna shift and change. They gave us an updated syllabus for everything. Some of the first news that I found out was that my biology class I had to take as a liberal arts requirement was gonna just end because we had 75% completion mark. So the school actually, they let the teachers just end the class there. So my biology class ended, as well as my figure painting general elective, which obviously like I wasn't really gonna be able to do that at home. Our figure painting class like solely revolved around models and like painting people, so unless you have somebody who's willing to like sit for you for 3 hours at a time, most people don't have that. Yeah, I know it's also hard for a lot of people who did the housing at my school. They all had to be kicked out pretty abruptly and go home or wherever they could, stay at a friend's house. The next class that I heard was my printmaking class, thankfully. Most of my classes we only had a final project left since it was the last month of the semester. We were nearing the end. We had just like one big project to finish up. So my printmaking class, the final project was going to be this really ambitious project of our choice, and my teacher sort of changed that prompt to be more experimental. We had to basically just find something in our house that was able to make a print on paper. So I'm still sort of figuring out what I'm gonna do. It's really hard to find the inspiration to make something when I'm working a lot and I'm just preoccupied with the weirdness of the situation and the strangeness how my life has changed. And I think my school is trying to like send out messages of like, this is a great time to make art, this is a time to be creative, you have time to yourself, you are able to be creative out of like troubling times. But I think that a lot of people aren't feeling that, at least yet. It's still so new that a lot of people are just like taking the time to still just contemplate and take in everything that's happened. So it's hard to push yourself to be so creative and get right back into the groove of school. So that's what I'm doing for my printmaking class. Still not sure, but I just have that one project to experiment and make stuff with. We're not doing like a full professional edition as we normally would with our projects. We usually have an edition of 5 prints that need to be like really professional and stuff. We're just doing like a 3-part series, and it doesn't have to be all the same image. It can be 3 different images, which is nice. The other thing that was a main change that I was worried about when I found out that we wouldn't be in person at all anymore this year was for fine artists and a lot of the other majors. We have an internship over the summer of our junior year. It's kind of like a requirement to graduate. It's pretty important. For fine art, it's only 40 hours, which isn't a lot at all. It's something that is taken pretty seriously. We have to find either an artist or a gallery, something like that, to connect with and work for over the summer. Hopefully paid for. Not everybody finds a paid for internship. I got the news that we weren't going to be having an internship requirement and my school was going to find something else to supplement that. So a lot of the kids didn't find their internship yet, myself included, so that was a relief because I know my mind went to that pretty soon after I found out that we were going to be doing online classes, because I immediately knew that nobody was really going to be thinking about hiring interns at this time. Nobody's really trying to hire anyone of any sort really right now because things are so up in the air, especially for artists and galleries and stuff. There's complete closed. So I'm glad that my school decided to change that. It's just irritating that we can't have that experience. A lot of the people in my class haven't had an internship yet. I did in high school, which was okay, but I was looking forward to have more of a professional internship experience, but hopefully I can find something else to do that will give me that same sort of experience. My next class I heard from was my media form and concept class, and this class is kind of like a mixed media, very free class. We can do whatever we want with whatever medium we want pretty much. It did focus a lot on like installation and big works like that, so that was kind of what our final project was going to be, like an installation including light and sound. And this class is half fine art majors and half photo majors, so they kind of melded the two to make something even more dynamic. For this class I was also like, how am I going to do this online? I need to make like an installation in my own home, which is nice because in some ways it's nice because when you're working on an installation that you have to do in school, sometimes it's hard to work on that in home knowing the fact that you're going to have to install it in a different place. So it's interesting working on that project still. I was going to do an installation of a ton of like cut out butterflies so that the art piece can mainly be the light that goes through them and just see all these shadows of like intricate shapes that are kind of like tangled up. So I'll post a video of that and how that looks. That class is going along so-so. My printmaking class is the main one that I was so concerned about, and I'm still upset that I can't have access to that printmaking lab. I feel that that's like a really important part of printmaking process. All of the art students' education is sort of being like dimmed down by this. Again, there's nothing that my school could have done, so I understand. But I know a lot of my other peers are talking about like wishing that they were getting refunds, especially for those in student housing, is irritating because that's about like a third of the semester almost that we're kind of losing by just having to work on stuff from home. Another class that I had was my professional practices class, and that was mainly, the internship was tied into that. So what we had left to do in that class was mainly like build a website and apply to a judge show, which oh, my other cat's here. Let me introduce him. Paco. Hello. Hello. We had to apply to a juried show, which I still haven't done. I will do that. And I think that's really mainly left of what we have for that class. So if you want to see my website, I just finished it at mabmoon.com. My last class was my painting class, theme and variation. So this class I was least worried about. Like I knew I was going to be able to do painting from home. I have canvases, except for that large one I left at the school. I have my paints. I have a pretty good supply of paints right now. So this painting class it's again pretty loose, as most of our classes are junior year. But you can work with any type of paint you wanted. I've been sticking with oil paint just because that's something that I really love. I'm working on the final project, show a picture of the in progress and how it's going, but it's going pretty well. I really, like I said, I wasn't worried about it at all, how it was gonna go. I knew I was gonna be able to do everything that I wanted with it. So the way I've been meeting with my teachers has been on Google Meet, and everything's recorded, so you can either attend the classes live or you can just watch a recording of the video that they will post to the Google Drive after. And I've been kind of doing half and half. Like I said, I've been working more often, so this allows me to be able to work during hours that I would normally be at school so I can make more money. I think it's been helpful to a lot of people who are in my same situation. Most of the classes have been meeting for an hour or a little bit more, but it's been around that same amount. So it's definitely not like as long as our normal class would be. Most of our classes are 3 to 6 hours long, so thank God I'm not in a 6-hour long Google Meet call with my teachers and classmates. Yeah, it's really more of like a check-in. Sometimes they'll look at pictures we've submitted of our in-progress work. It's obviously more difficult to take pictures of work or like show pieces and get feedback. Even doing online crits are a lot harder because you just don't get that in-person experience. And obviously it's important for your art to read online, but especially for some medias, it's really hard to get that experience. Like my installation class, it's really hard to capture what that work is like online as opposed to in person, like seeing it and being able to walk around it since it is 3D. So that's just been something that I've been having to work with. Again, I really hope that I'm not going to be back in this situation in the fall. Hopefully everything will be cleared up because it has been a challenge and it's not been the way that I wanted to see my college education going. I really did want that in-person experience with my class and being with the people that I'm always around. It's just much smoother and nicer. But at the same time, I am taking the least amount of classes I've ever taken. Like 5 classes, I have never had that amount at all. So it does feel nice to have a break. Right when the semester was getting tough, like we were all starting our final projects, things were getting kind of intense and stressful. It is nice to have a sudden break. And if I was in high school right now, like a senior, and thinking about applying to an art school, I would probably even take a gap year just because of everything that's going on. And I think some people are already thinking of doing that because I've heard that for my school we have gotten a lot less applications than we thought we were going to get for the fall incoming freshmen. So I think that that's smart because you really don't know what's going to happen. Obviously there's not much you can do with a gap year when you're quarantined, but it's better than paying for school that is online if you really don't want that experience, which I think most art school students don't. That's not ideal, obviously. So that's probably my advice if you are incoming freshmen. looking at schools right now. Definitely let me know what your experience has been. If you are in online art school right now, tell me what that has been like. I know that my school couldn't have done anything about it, but I think that we can still like complain and see the issues and how this is disrupting our education, because we are paying for it a lot. If you're taking out loans, that's even more stressful. Like, you're really going into debt over something that you really didn't want your education to be. So yeah, I think it's just another part of like mourning how our life has changed in this experience, and hopefully we are able to create something really amazing. I hope that everybody is making their best works right now, but if you're not, I think that's perfectly fine. It's fine to rest and take a bit, you know. I think it's important to always like be making art in your sketchbook or something, but you don't need to be making masterpieces right now. I know that my school has kind of been pushing that idea that like, you know, keep making art, but that just kind of adds to the stress and like makes you feel worse. Like, should I be making masterpieces right now? I'm just not feeling as inspired as I normally would, and I think that just acknowledging that is okay. You know, I think everybody who's an artist knows that already. Like, your inspiration will fluctuate, and sometimes you don't feel like putting so much time into a piece, and that's okay. Also, let me know if there's any videos you want to see. I'll probably do another check-in once I'm completely finished with my online school, just as another perspective of how that has been ending my semester online. But yeah, just let me know what you want to see and what you have been doing during your quarantine. I have mainly, like I said, been playing a lot of Sims, other video games. I've been making art, doing homework obviously. I've been tending to my plants, cuddling with my cats of course, reading books, give me book suggestions, and I've been making a lot of food too. So just tell me what you want to see, because I have so much free time right now. Editing videos is really fun for me, and now that it takes a lot of time though, I'm not super used to it yet, so I do want to do that more, just as another way of like spending my time in bed doing other things.
Don't you wonder sometimes about some vision?